Hey everyone, Renee here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my spring TBR. So I know in the past, especially last year, I was doing TBRs pretty much monthly. And this year I decided to not do that simply because TBRs I'm notorious for just not sticking to. It's very difficult for me to make a TBR and sit with it and just constantly, go as planned because I am such a mood reader. So this year I decided to not do it monthly. It just never works out and I'm tired of feeling like a failure at the end of the month for it not working out. So now what I've decided to do is do more of either themed or seasonal TBRs. Like for example, this one is a spring TBR. Will this be filled with books that remind you of spring? Absolutely not. Some of these books are the farthest from spring that I can think of. But it's just books that I've been in the mood to read that I feel like I definitely will read in the next couple months between April and May. So there is a decent chunk of books here. Do I think I'll get to all of them? No. Would I love to get to all of them? Of course. So without rambling and without further ado, I'm just gonna get into the books. I did split these up a little bit, so we're gonna start with my romance books because I do have a pile of those. The first one is Twisted Games by Anna Huang. This is the second book in a series, but I believe they're all standalones, so they all follow different people. I'm still not quite sure the connection in the series. I do think it's the friend group, the girls, but this is the only one I've read, and this one follows Princess Bridget, and I think that it's super fitting because I've been on a Bridgerton kick, and I know, they're not the same. They're so far from the same, but I don't know, I've just been hearing a lot about this particular series. I've been seeing it all over Bookstagram, all over Book Talk. Definitely will be getting to this one. I actually have already started it, so. Then we have Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This is Colleen Hoover's newest book, and apparently it is a roller coaster of emotions. A lot of people cried while reading this, and to be honest, I literally don't know anything about it. I think it follows, so this woman who is a mother ends up in prison, and when she gets out, she comes back and tries to be part of her son's life. And that's all that I know. Honestly, this doesn't sound like a book that I would usually pick up, like the plot. But because it's Colleen Hoover, it's just I have to read it and see what it's about. Next up, we have The Risk by Elle Kennedy. This is the second book in the Briar U series, which is a spin-off of the Off-Campus series that Elle Kennedy did. And I read The Chase last year, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I thought it was very, very average, very boring. I already forgot everything that happened in it. But that being said, I still am excited to read The Risk. This is another series like the Twisted series I mentioned just a couple books ago, where they are all a series, but they don't like fully connect. Like, I think it's a certain friend group or a certain just that world or that school that connects it, but it's different characters. So I think that I'll enjoy this one a little bit more just based on what I've heard. And then another romance that I have on this list is Colty by Queen Mariana Zapata. I still to this day have only read From Lukov with Love, even though that quickly became a favorite of mine. So I really do want to get through her other works, especially her sports romances, because I just really, really eat that shit up. And Colty, I believe, involves soccer. I actually don't know that much about soccer. I don't watch it often. It's one of the sports that I don't keep up with at all. But this book still sounds so good. And it's Mariana Zapata, so I feel like she's gonna make me want to watch a soccer game. And other than that, I don't really know anything. I just know that it's a sports romance, slow burn by Mariana Zapata, and I am so stoked to finally read more of her works. Then also in terms of romance, I would also like to continue with the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. This is a series that I started a couple months ago. I am currently in the middle of book 2, which is Sidetracked, I think. And there's 5 books in the series. They're all really small, and I have them all downloaded on my Kindle from Kindle Unlimited. So I definitely want to finish this series very, very soon. So I had to include this because I know that I'm going to be picking it up very soon. And if you don't know what this is about, this literally is like dark romance meets Criminal Minds, and it is giving everything that I needed. I honestly didn't expect it to go as hard as it does. Definitely is dark and a little bit more graphic, touches on some really heavy content, so definitely look up trigger warnings. But if you're a Criminal Minds girly and also a romance girly, you just gotta try it. ignore the ugly covers and just give it a try. And then I'm actually going to use that to segue into the next realm of books, which is a little bit more on the darker side. So I have Tender as the Flesh. This is a horror book, and this is one of the ones that I say is like so far from spring, but I'm highly intrigued by this book. I have been staring at it for a long time, and it definitely sounds like a book that's gonna really just mess with my mind and make me think and cringe, but in a good way, I think. So essentially this book takes place in a society where animal meat has become toxic to humans, so they make it legal to consume human meat. And honestly, that's just like really scary to think about, considering how our society is going in America, that is. It's just, I don't know what this is gonna do to me. I don't really eat meat anyway, so I feel like regardless of what happens, I'll be fine. Not that this is gonna happen in real life, but like, I feel like that's where my mind's gonna go. I don't know. Anyway, I'm nervous for it, but I'm also very excited. Then I also have another book by Miss Colleen Hoover, and that is Layla. So this is Colleen Hoover's other thriller. I read Verity a couple years ago, and a year ago. Oh my god, why does time feel like it's going by so slow? I literally read Verity February of 2021. I really liked it. It was really good, really just messed up, and just it's like one of those books that like I still go back and think about. So I really wanted to try her other thriller. I've been nervous because I definitely have not heard nearly as many good things about this one as Verity. I feel like most people actually don't like this one. But I'm just gonna try it anyway. I feel like, you know, I still might like it. I'm not gonna read any of the reviews until I'm done. I'm gonna formulate my own decision and just see what I think of it. So hopefully it delivers somewhat close to what Verity did. Then moving on, I do have some literary fiction books, light novels and graphic novels. That's gonna be the next portion of this. And the first one that I have is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. We're gonna go with that pronunciation. I'm so sorry if it's wrong. This is a book that I've seen floating around a lot, and I have heard so many mixed reviews of this. Some people absolutely love it and some people absolutely hate it, and it's very rare that I find someone who's in the middle about it. So this seems to be a very polarizing book, and I'm really excited to see where I stand with it. To be honest, I don't even know exactly what it is. From what I'm getting, it's like a very well-off girl from a rich family, just trying to figure out where she wants to go in life or what she wants out of life. Just an unhinged, depressed woman in her mid-20s is like what I'm getting from this book. And I hear she's not very likable, but I am known to not really have an issue with unlikable characters as long as there's a purpose. We'll see where this goes, but hopefully it'll go well. A little break to clear my throat. Then next up we have So Sad Today by Melissa Broder. This is a collection of personal essays by Melissa Broder. I've heard that this is a little bit dark and a little bit unhinged, but also just funny and brutally honest and just very raw and real. And it's different people's stories. And if I remember reading something correctly, I think this is literally a book comprised of stories that Melissa Broder made based off of tweets that she got in the past, like almost like personal confessions. I might be very wrong with that, or it could just be like her own personal tweets that she made these stories out of, like more in-depth essays about them. I'm not entirely sure, but I did read something about her Twitter. Personally, don't know much about Melissa Broder, but I just saw this floating around and I became very intrigued by it. And the blurb on the front says, "These essays are sad and uncomfortable in their own kind of gorgeous. They reveal so much about what it is to live in this world right now." And that was enough, because honestly, I'm at a point in my life where I just want to read more realistic things that I could probably relate to. So it's giving potential, and I hope that's what I get. Next up, we have a book that I'm also in the middle of, and that is A Certain Hunger by Chelsea Summers. I've already tabbed it a little bit because this book is so good so far. I'm only on chapter 5. I was supposed to read this with my friend Jan. She crushed it. I simply have not. But regardless, I am still really enjoying this. This is definitely a book that requires me to use my big brain. It's not a book that I can read fast because I want to really fully absorb the words and what the author is saying. And it's going to take me some time because I'm not used to reading books like this. Adult literary fiction is a new genre I'm delving into this year. So I'm definitely taking it a lot slower. I'm tabbing it a lot and I'm just letting all the words sink in. But essentially, I don't know if this is a trend with cannibalism this year, but this follows a food critic who discovers that she has an appetite for men. Literally, like she eats men. So I don't know if this is a trend that's going around because I also watched the movie Fresh a couple weeks ago on Hulu, which is very good. You should go watch it. Content warning. Cannibalism. So I don't know what that says about me or where society's going right now, but once again, a little intimidated by it. But I'm still gonna read it. It sounds so interesting and the writing is freaking just gorgeous. So definitely plan on finishing this one. And then I also have Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Machado. This is a collection of short stories. They're supposed to be more feminist stories. That seems to be a trend with these last 4 books. They all have a very feminist undertone to them. And I am very excited about this. My friend Issa gifted this to me and she said she really, really loved it. So I am hoping to enjoy it just as much as she did, and I'm definitely gonna share my thoughts with her. And other than that, I don't really know much, and I'm trying to go into it very blind and just see the enjoyment that I get out of it. But I'm very excited for this as well. Then I have a light novel that I've had on my shelf for a couple months now, and that is I Had That Same Dream Again by Yuro Sumino. This is also a manga, I believe, but I really wanted to get the light novel of it. It's not too awful long, but it is another novel that kind of just really touches on life and what it means to truly be happy, I think. It says, an unhappy girl who engages in self-harm, so trigger warning, a woman ostracized by society, and an old woman looking to live out her twilight years in peace. What could 3 such different people have in common? That's what grade schooler Kuyanagi Nanoka is trying to figure out. Assigned by her teacher to define what happiness means to her, she sets out to get to know these 3 strangers and through them perhaps know herself too. And that just sounds so sweet and endearing and wholesome. I do think it's going to be a little emotional too as well, but I'm just really excited for this. I did read I Went to Eat Your Pancreas by the same author just a couple months ago, and it was very deep-hitting or hard-hitting. So I have high hopes. The expectations are there. And lastly on this TBR, and I'm really excited about it, is Volume 2 of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is a series that I've really been wanting to catch up on for a while. I read the first volume last year during Pride Month, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And then I never read the second volume. Why? I don't know, but I have it. So I'm really excited to read it ASAP. Especially because I know the 5th volume is coming out this year and I want to be caught up by the time that comes out. It is a very wholesome LGBTQ story, gives a lot of important lessons, and is just such a good read. And I love Nick and Charlie, and I'm really excited to continue on their love story. So that is the gist of what I hope to read in spring. Like I said, definitely not all of them scream springtime. So this is definitely, by all means, not themed after spring. This is just books that I feel like I'm definitely really in the mood to read. So let me know if any of these are also on your upcoming TBRs, or if any of these books sound interesting to you that you might not have heard of that you want to read now. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up down below to help support this channel, and also hit subscribe to follow me on my reading journey if you haven't already. Like always, all of my socials will be linked down below so you can follow me anywhere you'd like, and keep up with me closer on my other platforms. And once again, I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!